Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Order by T.J. O'Shea, narrated by Jayden. Chapter 1. Two disembodied heads pop out of my bedroom window. My maids hiss my name like a curse, their flailing arms bidding me upward to the window. Digging my sneakers into the vine-covered trellis, I clamber up the side of the mansion, and both maids pull me inside with a flurry of curses and caveats. Violet leans out and swears under her breath at the tangled remains of vine and splintered white wood I left in my wake, ostensibly wondering how she'll explain it to my father. She shuts the window in a rush, yanking the drapes closed and running her hands over the heavy burgundy linen.
Miss Lucy, you know he doesn't like this.
No, he doesn't like this. Just as Papa hasn't liked every other time he's caught me sneaking in and out of the mansion over the past 24 years. But if my life consisted solely of the things he liked, I'd be throwing myself out of the window instead of climbing into it.
This is against the rules. You are a lady. You shouldn't be going to these...
She scrunches her face and gives me a quick, displeased sniff.
Places.
I am still a lady, my current state of dishevelment notwithstanding, I say to their matching expressions of tired but affectionate chastisement.
You know the #1 rule. No leaving the mansion without a guard.
That is indeed the rule. But it doesn't get any fairer no matter how many times she reminds me.
We have failed. Your mother would have our heads. May she rest in peace.
My mother wouldn't keep me as a prisoner in my own home, I shoot back. She would not need to because you would not anger her on purpose as you do Leader Piccolo. Ruby gives me a knowing look. Fair enough. And these rags. My eyes roll so hard I think they're going to fall out of their sockets. They're hardly rags. My shirt costs more than Ruby will make all year. But I don't say that, because that's the kind of rudeness that would disappoint my mother. Luckily for me, you can't disappoint the dead.
Leader Piccolo would call them rags,
Violet says with a nod, roughly undressing me as Ruby retrieves my dress. Oh, sure. Only clothes costing a fortune and tailor-made for me are fit to be worn by the fruit of his loins. He thinks quite highly of his loins. Sure, but sometimes it's nice to look like a regular person. I wiggle out of my jeans, and Violet takes the garment from me with 2 pinched fingers, like it's an unclean dish towel.
But you're not a regular person, Miss Lucy. You know how dangerous it is for a woman like you to be out after dark. Plenty of unsavory people would take advantage of a rich woman alone at night.
Luciana! Papa's heavy footfall pounds up the staircase treads, matching my heartbeat thud for thud. One moment, Leader Piccolo. There was a problem with the dress. Ruby glares at me. Making me lie to the leader. Next, you will have me joining a gang. That would be quite a sight, I reply. Have you shanked anyone before? Ruby pats my cheek. You should never hope to find out, little girl.
I don't know why you insist on angering your father. Leader Piccolo only wants what's best for you. He bought you this nice dress.
Papa bangs his fist on the thick oak door.
One moment, Leader Piccolo.
The currency of Papa's affection has always been currency. No surprise there. I call over my shoulder. Oh, just come in, Papa. The door flies open as Papa makes his grand, angry entrance, and the two women skitter away in a sweep of apologies and ducked heads, shutting the door in their hasty retreat. They know better than to get between Papa and me in an argument. By the way Papa's neck has reddened like a cartoon rocket, I know I'm about to hear it. He rarely visits my wing of the house unless he needs to admonish me for a trespass against him, or, in this situation, to yell at me for not promptly and gratefully attending his tacky masquerade ball.
Luciana Regina, where the hell have you been?
Papa's thick New York accent is particularly affected when he's angry. The city swells inside him until it chokes his vocal cords, every syllable a gunshot. His reflection in the mirror of my boudoir reveals his puffy frame stuffed inside an expensive suit. Our resemblance begins and ends at our last name. Papa is short and round, topped with a pile of black hair he insists on slicking back, along with a knobby nose and small, inset brown eyes. Stood next to each other, we look like the number 10.
"I've been right here, Papa," I reply, gulping. "In my tower, where you left me."
You were expected downstairs well over an hour ago. Figlia mia,
he says.
We have guests.
"Papa, it's a masquerade ball. If nobody knows who I am, they can't miss me," I explain evenly, hoping the pitter-patter of my heart doesn't betray me in my voice.
You will go downstairs for this party. You will behave yourself.
Every sentence is like the swinging of a sword. Slice, slice.
I will introduce you to Jimmy's son, and you will entertain him for the evening.
Slice. I'm about to protest when he goes off into his signature guilt-trippy monologue.
Who do you think I throw these parties for? Why do you think I spend all this money? For me?
Yes, because you do, you braggart.
These are for you. All of my work is for you.
What work? You inherited power. We're janitors. The last Piccolo to do any real work was... And really, I don't even know. The reign of Piccolos in the Northeast stretches back farther than I care to trace. One of the men in those musty oil paintings in the hallways.
You are gonna send me to an early grave, Luciana. And you know what? That would be fine if I didn't think you were less prepared than the goddamn dishwasher to run this region.
His anger has dissipated into a more manageable exasperation. While he may be a ruthless tyrant as a day job, it doesn't take much for me to cut him down to size. No daughter leaves her father's weakness unexploited. It's more my birthright than the region. He points a short, fat finger at me.
What would your mother say?
Lancing me with the memory of my mother is low, even for him. She wouldn't want to attend this either. She hated your balls.
Catherine might have hated them, but she would never tolerate this behavior, and you know it.
As much as my mother preferred books to balls, she did always attend social functions with a smile on her face and encourage me to do the same. So, he's right, but I'm not going to tell him that.
If you can't be relied upon to attend a ball, how the hell am I supposed to entrust you with the region?
Looks like neither of us has a choice in that, do we? Papa sighs, evidently weary and exhausted with me.
I am only asking you to attend a goddamn ball, Luciana. I want to see you downstairs in less than 10 minutes.
My hand goes up in salute as I stand. Yes, sir, Leader Piccolo, sir. His expression softens only a tad as he looks me up and down.
Papa gets that look in his eyes every so often when he sees my mother in me. She did it better, of course. She did everything better. But our resemblance is a more powerful weapon than her memory.
That is a nice dress. You look lovely, Principessa.
Thank you, Papa. I pluck his mask from the breast pocket of his coat, securing it around his head. I'll see you in a few minutes. Promise. Planting a quick kiss on his cheek, I turn his wide frame around and usher him out the door. I wrangle myself into impossibly high heels, bringing my tallness to new heights. During events in which I know I'll be thrust toward some rich man's salivating son, it's an inner delight to truly tower over them. Giving my dress a once-over, I run my fingers along the real emeralds stitched into the matching emerald-colored fabric, shimmering with every subtle movement of my body. My mask matches in aesthetic, made from finely crafted mahogany. Shooting up from the left side is a bright bouquet of exotic feathers in orange, red, and yellow. I am a tree in the midst of autumn, beautiful, but in the throes of death. The servants lingering outside my door erupt in a chorus of hushed oohs and ahs. I want to roll my eyes at the dramatics, but good breeding forces a polite smile at their profuse adoration. It isn't their fault. Papa pays them to make me feel good about myself. There is always someone on payroll to tell me how beautiful, how smart, how funny I am. With that inflated sense of self-worth, it's a wonder I fit through any doorways at all. But I do. And I find myself making the familiar trip toward the busy kitchen. Using my foot to prop open the door, the gust of room-temperature air hits the sweating chefs and distracts Jean, enough to glance over at the source of prolonged relief. Jean resembles a 20th century movie villain, complete with nefarious eyebrows, skinny physique, and a sloping nose he looks down to talk to anyone. He's a twirling mustache and top hat away from tying a damsel to a railroad track, but a kind heart beats beneath his standoffish French exterior.
Your dress is magnificent,
he says with an unnecessary half-bow toward me.
Like a beautiful le Beaulieu.
Merci, monsieur. A server hoisting a silver platter whizzes past us. How much could I pay you to hide me in here?
Like when you were a little girl, yes? Hiding from tutors and your parents.
He grins, wiping his hands on the front of his apron.
Can barely see you underneath his mask. Your mother gave you that pretty face and that pretty hair, and yet you hide.
That's the point of a masquerade, is it not? Disguise yourself, be someone else for a night. One of the servers greets me by name as she passes. I'd respond in kind if I had any idea who she is, so I smile politely and nod. Papa has close to 50 people employed at the mansion full-time, and for these events the number is at least doubled. Knowing their names would be a full-time job unto itself.
You don't want to be you? These people here would kill to be you.
I'm about to heartily disagree when John gasps as if he's been shot.
Oh, no, no, no. The dough should be golden brown on the ends. Do not serve this mare to the kiss.
It looks fine to me, but if Jean's reaction is anything to go by, these pastries are as inedible as bootstraps.
I am so sorry, Luciana. I will see you tomorrow because I have to wash over every miette leaving the kitchen. Otherwise...
He slides his finger across his throat. Jean can rest easy. Considering Papa's gluttonous gift for excess, the last person he would fire would be the chef. Temporarily anonymous by virtue of my mask, I stalk around my ballroom unnoticed. The last thing I want to do is draw attention, lest Papa catch wind I'm downstairs and force me to meet good old Jimmy's son. I'd rather eat my own hair. I'd even eat someone else's hair. I mill about, picking up bits and pieces of conversations, snippets of gossip or unsolicited advice, drunken rants, and salacious whispers. Most of it is drivel or rumors below my level of interest, until I'm near the edge of the ballroom by the garden windows. In the daytime, these windows showcase exotic flowers Papa has imported. But at night, it looks like an ominous jungle with dangers lurking inside. The ballroom has never been my favorite place in our mansion. It's cavernous and gaudy, like a bygone relic from the reign of a Russian czar. Gold trim, immense oil paintings, heavy draperies, skylights, and Doric columns just shy of flagrantly phallic.
Did you hear about Silas?
A hook-nosed man and his short companion stand near a pillar, heads bowed together in close conversation. Casually, I glide to the other side of the pillar, my back to them, watching over my shoulder.
Oh, certainly,
his companion replies.
Murdered in his sleep, slit throat.
The hook-nosed man, gossiping, uses his index finger to swipe across his neck like Jean did. But this time, it's not an exaggeration.
Oh, the kid's found dead too, and his pretty young wife.
Heavens! The order, I presume?
The same. They are so brazen nowadays. I heard rumors they took out top brass in other regions, you know,
he says in a gossipy whisper.
Silas lost nearly every one of the high-ranking men in his military before his murder. Leader Reed's top 2 consultants, missing. Leader Thorne's top duster, dead.
They share a look of vague concern.
What do they want?
The ugly man inquires of his companion.
Democracy? Democracy was a theory, like communism. Was this not proven in the Rift? You cannot sustain a country on ideals. Uneducated fools, the lot of them. They'll doom us all.
Perhaps I should comment about how gravity is also a theory, but no one is floating around the room. I don't. Our ballroom is awash in rumors and scandal. It's as prevalent in the air as music. On their lips is the fate of Silas McGovern, or their worries and bets on who the next target will be. Others blissfully engage in more benign conversation about inter-region trade or extramarital affairs. The only truly useful information I gather is from those who doubt Papa's ability to combat a rebel force. I make a mental note of them. Papa will want to know about it later.
Savages.
An old woman sips from her martini glass, held in diamond-encrusted fingers.
Killing innocent children? The Order of Prometheus is no harbinger of peace. They're violent radicals.
Terrorists is the word she's looking for, but she'd only find it if she raided my mother's illicit library, where the word pops up often to describe the events leading to the rift and the eventual collapse of the former nation. Like her books, that word is shuttered away and gone from usage. Nobody wants easy access to the blueprints of rebellion.
Silas deserved it.
This comes from a statuesque woman in a twilight purple gown, who says this with finality, smacking her twilight purple lips together.
Those idiot religious zealots in the southeast, they deserve barbarism.
A stately older gentleman with epaulettes on his shoulders clears his throat. Attention turns to him quickly. He's the highest-ranking member of the force, Chief Jones. His mere presence inspires adulation and fear amongst this flock of cravens. Not for me, since no matter how many meaningless yellow patches they sew into his uniform, I will always outrank him.
"The rebels will never take this region,"
he says, bursting with confidence.
"McGovern was old and weak. Leader Piccolo and I would never allow a rebel presence to build here."
Chief Jones' arrogant confidence is not surprising. Even if he inwardly worried about the pockets of rebellion, he'd never say it publicly. Papa bought his loyalty long ago, shored up by a friendship bonded by a fondness for power. The clearest memory I have of him is my mother scolding my father when he left a pre-adolescent me alone with the chief after a dinner meeting. We were never left alone together again.
"What do you think, young lady?"
His voice gives me a start, and I assume his booming tone is directed at me. It isn't. He's asking the woman standing in front of the beverage table, who looks up through a simple, light blue figure-8 mask. A rogue strand of blonde hair escapes her graceful bun, and she swipes it away from her eyes. In contrast to the ball gowns of the other women in attendance, she wears a tailored black suit and blue tie. It's not uncommon to see a woman in a suit, especially among Papa's female employees or sub-region leaders. But it would be uncommon for one of them to be so young. Perhaps she's the daughter of someone important. What do I think about what? A pair of amber eyes, inert but intense, like uncorked champagne, stare up with disinterest. Her voice is low and scratchy, not because of age, but a natural huskiness, drawling like an old record.
"About the rebels, of course,"
he replies.
"You're a young person. What is the feeling among those your age about the sudden rise of rebellion?"
What rebellion? If there were a threat, I am sure half your top men would not be here getting inebriated. My mask hides my shock, but not my snort of laughter. If I were a good hostess, I would intervene and politely tell her how rude it is to insult such a high-ranking official. However, I'm not a good hostess, and high-ranking officials are usually twats, and this one is especially twatty. He peers down his nose at her.
"It's my duty to protect this city. I take that very seriously, young lady."
She cocks an eyebrow, primed to respond. I eagerly anticipate her next verbal takedown, but she schools her features neutrally and doesn't give me the satisfaction. Sure. He continues pontificating despite the woman's complete indifference.
"You look young, and it's usually the young who have their hackles up for rebellion. You are the ones who don't understand that the systems we have in place protect everyone. These rebels, whatever they call themselves, they throw around the word freedom, but their concept of it is twisted,"
He storms.
"It is not a free-for-all, with the will of an uneducated public directing the fate of the rest. Freedom is safety. Freedom is protection."
I don't believe I asked, nor need for you to explain freedom to me. Another woman in the group lets out a dramatically sharp gasp at the suited woman's reply. Nor do I think the man with his boot on the neck of the underclass in this city knows much about the concept. Chief Jones bristles in a flush of anger at the affront. He looks about ready to punch this young woman in her face.
What insolence! Who are you?
She takes a step closer to him, invading his personal space. Her eyes drag from his gold star badge up to his cold steel eyes. I'm nobody. Who are you? This moronic slab of rock masquerading as a man couldn't differentiate an Emily Dickinson quote from a hole in his head, but I can. There's no time for me to wonder how she came upon a banned poet from the 19th century, as Chief Jones is supremely pissed off and armed. Years of etiquette classes put me into action quickly, snatching a drink from the punch bowl and sidling up to the incensed man. Chief Jones.
Little Lucy, I apologize if I've caused any disturbance.
We share a sidelong glance at the woman who actually caused the disturbance.
My, don't you look ravishing.
And there's his hand on the small of my back. Heroically, I suppress the shiver lurking in my spine as his hand drifts lower. Hello, Miss Piccolo, the woman says, pointedly ignoring Chief Jones. Ignoring the dumb skip of my heart, I return my attention to the chief. A fierce discussion is good for the heart. Did you know that? Keeps a young man like you even younger. He preens, summarily distracted from the woman who caused his ire. She remains close, eyes burning into Chief Jones like she's trying to set him ablaze with her gaze.
Luciana!
Papa's voice sails over the orchestra, and I find his stout figure waving at me from across the ballroom. The blonde woman has disappeared from the punch table, much to my disappointment. She must be upper class. Papa would only invite wealthy patrons, but she's somehow not an intolerable snob, and we seem to share the hobby of antagonizing powerful men. Upper-class people with sympathies for the underclass and no tongue on the boot of the force are extremely uncommon. But tonight, I may have found one, my white whale, and now she's gone. Call me Ishmael. So sorry, Chief. Perhaps we can have a dance later? I ask, looping his arm with mine and steering him toward Sergeant Miles, another rich policeman on the force. Once the two men greet each other, I extricate myself from the chief and ready my harpoon. I'm called to port before I can continue my hunt.
Luciana, avvicinati.
Papa smiles, much too kindly, and I already know I'm going to hate whatever is about to happen. I approach with wary steps from one storm into another.
This is Jimmy Jr. JJ, this is my beautiful daughter, Luciana.
Jimmy Jr.'s suit doesn't quite fit his robust frame. Rumpled white socks are visible below where his pant leg strains valiantly to reach his shoes. His brown locks are slicked up like freshly cut winter grass. A crusty bit adorns the side of his lip, making him practically the most irresistible man in the room. This man-child extends his hand toward me, and I take it because Papa is watching. Much to my disdain, he places a warm, mushy kiss on my knuckles. A pleasure to meet you, Luciana. Leader Piccolo has been telling us of your beauty all night. I understand why he keeps you under lock and key. Oh, good. Nothing a woman loves more than being coveted like an object. I glare at my father and silently vow to hide the painkillers in the morning from that tipsy turncoat.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?